recording. Yoav, if you can start the recording, this would be a good time to do that. And I want to welcome you to the May 5th Joint Venture Fast Track special bonus with Perry Marshall. And we do have Perry here. How are you, Perry?
I'm great, and I'm delighted to see we have quite a crowd here on a Monday morning.
We got a crowd.
I thought all you guys had something, more important to do, like go to meetings or something.
This is a more important meeting.
We could all, you could all be, mucking around with your staff or something. I mean, what could be more fun than that? No, seriously, I'm really glad everybody's here, and this is a really interesting topic, and it's not really, I don't think anybody's exactly interviewed me about this before, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun.
Cool. So this is actually a, you might think of it as a friendlier version of Shark Tank, kind of like a Perry and Glenn tank for 90 minutes. And we have, do we have 7 people today, or are there 10 and there are just a couple that haven't showed up? Just trying to allocate the time.
10, and you should start rolling right away and give each person 7 minutes.
Okay, so everybody will have 7 minutes, and what we'd like you to do is talk succinctly a little bit about your background and your offer and why you think it would be interesting to Perry in particular. Obviously, Yoav and I are listening as well. And with that, just raise your hand if you'd like to go first. Otherwise, I will call on people. Okay. So this is Diane Gold, Perry.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, Diane, you're on.
Okay, can you hear me better now? Okay, can you hear me? Am I better now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Before, right?
Oh, yeah, we had, as a matter of fact, I pitched you doing Tai Chi years ago. I wanted to do Tai Chi in place of in place of, for trade. I did that a long time ago. We've also talked about music. We talked a little bit about jazz. Yep.
Love jazz.
Yep. So my background is I have a master's in music therapy. I've been doing martial arts for over 25 years, and I've been teaching it. And I have the airplane workout. I have this ebook, and I want to get it out there. And I was hoping that you would love it, and Glenn would love it, and help me promote it. One of the things that, it's based upon Kung Fu principle. So I think it's the only thing out there for an airplane that's based upon Kung Fu principle. It's 12 exercises and bonuses on every page. And so can I have a little PowerPoint. Could you make me a presenter?
We can. And Dan, you'll have about 5 minutes to go through this in total, okay?
Like jazz. You like music and you like fitness, and martial arts. So there you go. So that's my pitch. Okay, so let's see. That is not the first page, so hang on. Sorry. Okay, so we have the airplane workout. And I do want to say that the little character that's up there, that is a rendition of me sitting on an airplane. Okay, so anyway, here's my book. Anyway, did you know that there is a disease, that people have thromboses on an airplane from sitting around? Anyway, they do. I didn't know that there was at least 4% of people get sick when they're on an airplane, and they have heart attacks and they have blood clots. Anyway, so it's important to move around. It even happens in first class. It's not just. There are also cases of polio, measles that are involved in air travel. So one of the things that happens is that if you're moving, you're not going to get these cramps. You're not going to get you're not going to get traveler's thrombosis. They call it economy class syndrome, but it happens in first class. So there's I mean, okay, yeah, it's 1%. I exaggerated. It's not 4%. So this means if 2 billion people fly a year, which is the statistic, then 20 million people will have this. So what can you do? You can buy 3 coach seats each time you fly, or you can buy 2 first class seats so you can have plenty of leg room and lie horizontally. You can walk up and down the aisle and bump into people, or okay, that was my favorite thing to do. Okay, you can do the airplane workout. So it's the first airplane workout designed by a Kung Fu artist, myself, using Kung Fu body alignment principles. They're really simple. There's an interconnection of the body systems. You work the muscles and tendons, but you work them, as with Kung Fu, you work them from the bone outward, which is different. When you go to the gym, you work the muscles from the outside in, which is why they deflate and go away when you stop going to the gym or when you stop just lifting weights. That's why Kung Fu muscles last for a long time, because you start from inside. Anyway, this increases blood, increases respiration. Anyway, are you a major jock who works out 10 hours a day? It doesn't matter. This is good for you anyway. I mean, a lot of times there are certain things that Kung Fu people do that everyone else doesn't do, and that is strengthen the wrists, strengthen the joints, and get everything flowing at once. So anyway, this workout is good for everyone. So if you're really in total good shape, it still works. And it works if you don't do anything. Nothing this workout can't handle. It was designed to fit everybody, any condition. You could always do a modified version of any of the exercises, and I mentioned that. And that's one of the things that Kung Fu does and Tai Chi also does that many other things don't do. You can adjust it to how you feel that day. As long as you move a little bit, then you're going to benefit. Okay, so you're ready to get it, so you turn the page. Anyway, that's where you get it. You go to the airplaneworkout.com/go, and after you see my little sales page, and I wanted to know, is it too short? I mean, it's like minute. You guys have sales pages that are as long as my entire apartment, and so this is tiny, right to the point. Anyway, it takes you to warriorsofweight.com consulting options, which redirects to my secure site, and I'm doing it through ClickBank at the moment.
And what are sales like?
Say it again.
What are your sales like?
Oh no, I didn't start. I wanted to see whether the airplane workout title is okay. I wanted to see whether where it leads is okay. Now you talked to me about you talked to me about going somewhere else. Now I just want to show. Let me see. You said that doing just having the airplane workout itself might not be enough. I need to go to I need to have something else. So I'm leading people to consulting. You said I should have consulting along with the book. So here are my consulting options. And I didn't know, again, I don't know whether I need an entire sales page to go before this. This is something that people can get immediately if they have some kind of problem. A little bit, they need a little bit of push, a little bit of something. So sales aren't yet. I'm just,
Gotcha.
You said this is what I should do, so this is what I'm doing.
Well, okay, so then we're just about out of time. Did you want to ask? I'm going to mute you for a second while I'm talking because there's an echo. We're just about out of time. Did you want to ask Perry a question? Did you want to ask me a question? How should we wind this down?
Okay. Do you want to help me promote it, and what's wrong with it?
Perry, do you want to answer that, or would you like me to?
Okay, so I've never promoted anything this far from online marketing. Like everything I sell is pretty pretty specific to some kind of business problem or something like that. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to endorsing something like this. You know, if I tried it out, I've certainly done that before. But like with affiliate offers, I'm pretty narrow about, you know, what I'll bring to my audience. That said, you know, what you said about people getting, I didn't know what thrombosis was. So there's some, you can't, I don't think you can use language like that, but you can say, you know, 1% of the, you got a 1% chance of getting blood clots, and you're 100 times more likely to get sick when you're on a plane. That gets my attention because I'm going to get on a plane this week. So yeah, am I interested in being healthier when I'm on a plane, or knowing how to stay hydrated and stuff like that? Certainly. So, you know, it's an interesting, you've got some pretty interesting hooks here, and I think it's a matter of putting those up front and center, and you have to scare people into doing this, because nobody automatically assumes that they need an airplane workout. And in fact, you know, if you call it the airplane workout, you know, people are like, oh, well, yeah, I'm sure I should do that, but I'm not going to. On the other hand, if you called this why you get sick when you fly, and, you know, how to solve it or something like that, I think that would be better.
That makes a lot of sense. And I might make, we're going to have to move on, but I might make a suggestion. Okay. I'm sorry, I have to mute you because there's a big echo when I don't. I might suggest that you see if you can partner up with a copywriter who could help you to present this most effectively. I think that, like Perry said, I really do think you have something. I've always thought that your ideas are terrific, and you're really dedicated to health, and I really applaud that. And I'd love to see you working with, you know, with a copywriter, maybe for, you know, a big percentage or something like that, so you can get this out there. Okay, I'm going to have to leave it at that for now because we're running out of time. Diane, I'll unmute you for 1 second just to say thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. How do I get the endorsement? How do I connect with either of you to get that?
Send the course over. We can, I'll take a look at it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, you can just go through my support system. I'll make sure it gets to Perry. Thanks, Diane.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay, and I believe, did Daniel want to go next? Daniel, was that you?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
I can. Do you have a presentation, or do you just want to speak?
No, I do have a PowerPoint.
Okay, so let's get you there. And it's now 10:14, so we'll try to end this one around 10:20.
See my screen?
Yes, we can. So
wonderful. All right, first and foremost, I really appreciate this opportunity. Revenue Conduit is right smack in the middle of two huge and growing markets, e-commerce and marketing automation. And we're offering you an opportunity for both recurring and upfront commission. Revenue Conduit connects your online store to your marketing. We provide a deep, seamless connection between Infusionsoft, the only all-in-one sales and marketing software built for small business, and four of the world's leading shopping carts: Magento, Shopify, BigCommerce, and Volusion. Infusionsoft currently has around 23,000 customers, and their stated mission is to get to 100,000 customers. The shopping carts we integrate with Infusionsoft are used by 400,000 businesses worldwide. And now with Revenue Conduit, these 400,000 online stores can have a deep, seamless connection between their store and Infusionsoft in a matter of minutes. And with your help, we're going to go after this market. We're going to help Infusionsoft grow to 100,000 small businesses, with Revenue Conduit and its partners benefiting from a sticky, recurring revenue business. Before I get into more details, I'll first lay out our commission structure. Revenue Conduit is a monthly subscription ranging from $24.95 per month to $499.95 per month. We offer commissions between 10 and 20% depending on the total number of apps sold. In addition to our subscription, we're an Infusionsoft certified partner. That means we resell Infusionsoft and implement Infusionsoft for our clients through an e-commerce optimized Kickstart, a version of the normal Infusionsoft Kickstart program required of all new Infusionsoft customers. And our e-commerce optimized kickstarts range from $24.95 to $9,995, with between 20% and 50% going to you. My name is Dan Kurt. I'm a co-founder of Revenue Conduit, an Infusionsoft certified partner, and a longtime Planet Perry member. A few years ago, my wife and I were running an online store selling jewelry. We were using Magento for our shopping cart and MailChimp for our marketing. Perry, I taught myself AdWords through your book. I also did a bobsled run and learned about RFM segmentation, 80-20 analysis, and lifecycle marketing. And with all that I was learning, I grew increasingly frustrated by the lack of integration between our shopping cart and our marketing, and my inability to fully implement the lessons I was learning from you. So I signed up for Infusionsoft, and I partnered with my now co-founder, Parag, to build the first version of Revenue Conduit simply to scratch my own itch. And after that was built, we opened our eyes and realized hundreds of thousands of other online stores could benefit from Infusionsoft. And so I shut the jewelry business down, and we got to work turning that first version of Revenue Conduit into what we have today. Just a year ago, we made our first sale, and we now currently have 114 subscribers paying us an average $71 a month. Our churn is low at 1.57% per month, and we're currently growing at more than 10% a month. We're a SaaS business, so our software sits on our own servers with all the data flowing through us from our customer shopping carts to Infusionsoft, and we're currently syncing around $2 million a week in total order volume. And I'm also pleased to announce that out of 41 apps, Revenue Conduit was named Battle of the Apps Champion at the annual Infusionsoft conference about a week ago. So about a year ago, we made our first sale, and just a week ago, we were named the #1 app in the Infusionsoft community, and I really feel that we're just getting started.
Congrats.
Thank you, Perry. I appreciate it.
By the way, you should have said that a lot sooner.
Next presentation, I'll take that to heart. So our ideal prospect is an online retailer, and they're doing at least $250,000 a year and likely not more than $5 million. They need to be using Magento, Shopify, BigCommerce, or Volusion, though we often field calls from existing Infusionsoft users thinking about adding an external shopping cart, and I see this as a growing trend. Lastly, these companies are using MailChimp, Constant Contact, Aweber, or any of the other email service providers. MailChimp got them to where they are, but it's not going to get them to where they need to be, and that's where we and Infusionsoft come in. So as we find online retailers that are ready to graduate from the MailChimps of the world, we sell them Infusionsoft and Revenue Conduit, providing you with a significant upfront commission and recurring commissions for the life of the customer. And Perry, I know that you're one of the top Infusionsoft referral partners, so I'm sure we can likely work something out with Infusionsoft for you to get the recurring commissions while Revenue Conduit handles the implementations. And that would mean that you would be getting the upfront from Revenue Conduit, the recurring from Revenue Conduit, and the recurring from Infusionsoft. And I think that's quite a bit of money there. So I'll quickly lay out what Revenue Conduit does, and then I'll happily answer any questions you guys have. We sync orders, products, and customers. We enable lifecycle marketing for online retailers, so that's everything from new customer welcome, automatic cross-selling and upselling, re-engagement, a lot more. And we enable RFM segmentation and 80-20 analysis. This is an example customer record with what Revenue Conduit syncs, and you can see that we're syncing total number of orders, total amount of orders, date of last order, on down to average order amount and average days between orders. And the typical implementation for an online retailer involves getting all their historical data into Infusionsoft, calculating all those RFM metrics, conducting an 80-20 analysis to find the low-hanging fruit, and then putting a campaign in place to a specific customer segment. And I'll just give you an example here. We recently did this for a client and found that 75% of his customers had only bought once. So we put a campaign in place with 3 segments based on the date of last order, and in a week and a half brought in more than $30,000 in revenue, providing him with a very big ROI and making him very happy. So that's it. We're right smack in the middle of 2 big and growing markets. We have a lot of respect in the Infusionsoft community, and our job now is to go into the shopping cart communities and solve the pain that MailChimp cannot solve. So we're looking for partners that share our mission of making a sizable chunk of Infusionsoft's future 100,000 customers be online retailers using Revenue Conduit. And once again, I appreciate the opportunity to pitch to you. Thanks.
Well, interesting. Well, so I think this is interesting, and would like to look into it more. The first question that comes to mind for me is how is there any way that I could zero in on the customers I have who have these e-commerce shopping carts? I'm kind of drawing a blank. I'm sure you've thought about this way harder than I ever have. That's the first. Well, yeah. Is there anything that can be done there?
I think sending out an email and doing maybe a survey with some of your other product launches. You gauge interest, you gauge appetite before committing to doing something. So,
Dan, is there any way that you could provide a profile of the typical buyer and maybe run a regression against Perry's database so he could identify it before he had to send out the email?
Yeah, I can figure something out like that, sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm after. I'm not sure exactly what it would be, but I'd be interested. If there's a way to not have to hit everybody with that message to get most of the targets, that would be great. And I would also think that your real opportunity is you going and finding Infusionsoft customers with their help and blessing. Have you had all those kind of conversations with them already?
They give us a lot of support. So,
okay.
I've had conversations with folks that are pretty high up there, and they mentor us, and they do give us a lot of support. We've got, I don't want to get into details here on a public forum, but yeah, we have an open dialogue with Infusionsoft.
Good.
Okay, so
well, that's impressive. That's great. That's exactly how great businesses get started. Is somebody's like, well, I got this problem, I got to solve it. So,
Daniel, it's very interesting. We unfortunately have to move on. Perry, it sounds like you'd like us to connect Daniel with your team.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks.
You bet.
Okay, and Mike. Would you like to give a presentation, Mike?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Mike.
I do.
I'll make you a presenter, okay? And you're on.
Let's view full screen. Come on. Ah, shoot. There we go. All right, can you see that all right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, greetings, everybody. I'm going to go through this real quickly. This is kind of a very short version of a webinar I would put together with a lot more detail, but just hit the high points here. What I call the expert bypass system, which is the fast track to achieving expert status. And, sorry, go to webinar things in my way. The target market here is established business owners, practitioners, or really anybody in a niche market who's already developed core competency, and their goal is to now get out into the expert as a branded expert based on their kind of personality and individual knowledge. Traditional route there is to write a book, get on TV, radio, kind of the old school method. There's obviously lots of competition for doing that, a very high time investment, and really a low probability of success. I mean, you're trying to swim upstream with a lot of people out there. You become a supplicant because you're kind of begging people to either publish my book or put me on your TV show, or very hit or miss application of your time and effort. The expert bypass method is really just an alteration in how we look at achieving this expert status, which is you create your own platform, invite your peers to participate in this JV-based event, which could be really anything that you could do on your own, but it would be a telesummit, a workshop, could be trade show, could be a product creation, as Glenn goes over in his course, could be any number of things. And it's obviously a newer, more dynamic model, much less competition, because not many people really want to put the effort out to create the platform and do the work behind it. So it's still a high time investment, probably comparable to what, trying to get a book published or get on TV, but the probability of success is much, much higher. And instead of being a supplicant, you're in a peer-to-peer relationship. You're networking with people on your level, so you're going to get benefit from the effort you put out, as opposed to calling flunkies that work at, for Oprah that could care less what you do. And I consider it kind of a high floor, low ceiling, kind of a baseball analogy, that there's a much higher probability of getting value from this, even though it may have a lower ceiling than if you do get on Oprah or Dr. Oz or something. And how you normally would get there is there's different segments of the value level here, and the high value work is obviously designing the event, really structuring it, finding the market for it, and finding the right experts that really are in your market. The low value work, or if you want to look at it in 80-20 terms, the 80 work is website, the technical stuff, the scheduling, accounting, administration, blah, blah, blah. Now you can do it the do-it-yourself way, which is kind of a learning curve, lots of parts and pieces to put into place. Or you can go into the route of partnering with a JV production company that puts these sort of events on. And the problem with that is it's very hard to achieve balance because they're doing 80 work, you're bringing the 20 work together, and there's only a kind of a midpoint where the value is actually equal. Otherwise, if you don't generate enough sales, they're not benefiting. If you generate way more sales, then you're giving away half your profits or more to somebody who's doing the low value work. So in my case, I'm doing a consultative model, which is a done-with-you model, which is I provide the essential high-value consulting information, the 20, value stuff. The client handles the detail work, such as having the secretary make appointments, etc., outsourcing the web design, or whatever they want to do. And what I can bring is a proven success and track record, so they can borrow my credibility. It's not like they're doing this for the first time. And I can save 6 months to a year in development phase, learning curve, effectively starting with your second event when you're trying to do this. And I do this at a fixed cost, which is a true value exchange, and I minimize the risk. My track record is my event called Living Energy Secrets, which generated over $1 million in sales over 5 seasons. The first season was really a throwaway, kind of a learning curve season, so it was effectively over 4 seasons. And I've done several other events, 5 24-hour live telesummit marathons, which is kind of crazy. I've done 3 workshop events in the UK, Los Angeles, Nashville. I've done a Back Hope Summit, which is based on alternative back pain. And I've done several trade shows, and as Perry will appreciate, I come from a technical background and put on my own trade shows and had really successful trade shows for a fraction of the cost of a normal trade show. So it's pretty widely applicable strategy. And what I'm looking for is just to get in front of the right people. That's kind of the tricky part. And so I'm offering, my normal rates are for a single month consultation is $2,500. That would be 4 calls and pretty much answering emails, so working with the process. And you can see here 3 months or more, $2,000 a month, and a full year, $20,000. And I'm referring 50% on the first month, 20% follow-on months, or percentage for a full year. And the way I do this is I actually offer the first session for nothing. So this is where I actually explore the concept with people and see if they qualify, see if it's a fit for them, because I don't want to take on people that's not the right fit for. And so I could do that for free with a direct referral, or if this was done off a webinar, maybe there'd be a $200 retainer for people to sign up to keep out tire kickers, which I would just give to the JV partner. And then if after the first 15 minutes, if somebody says, this just isn't for me, then we just refund them the $200. Otherwise, they can do the full session and decide to go or no go from there, and the JV partner keeps the money there. So
2-minute warning, Mick.
That's it.
Hey,
I'm done.
Give me a quick story of okay, so what did you do for somebody, and what was the result?
Well, my main event was the thing called Living Energy Secrets, which I put together from bootstrap with my neighbor down the street, who probably never made more than $10 an hour in her life, but was a very good talker and interviewer. And so we put together this event, recruited 24 experts in the realm of energy psychology, energy healing, EFT, things like that, and interviewed each one of them, and they sold a special offer. And the first event, we had one that was kind of a learning curve event that didn't generate much, but I learned the formula. Our second event, we generated about $270,000 in sales. Our top speaker did $60,000 on a 1-hour call. And then the next season, we did over 300 and something thousand. And then we dropped down on the third season, and then we were working also with a third-party provider.
That's great. So am I correct in understanding that this person had tremendous knowledge, but they did not have a bunch of connections in the industry, and you made them the host of a public event and pulled it off. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little more about what a weakling she was in the marketplace before you showed up.
Well, nobody on earth knew who she was. She worked at the local realtor's office. That's where I met her, and we actually went in just to start working on online marketing. And I basically said, you talk all the time. We ought to find a way to use that to our advantage. And she was big into alternative health. She wasn't even familiar with our main topic at first, and she was, when she learned about it, became fascinated with it. So she just was literally a nobody and really had no aspirations to be an expert. But so, I mean, I know this works, and actually taking somebody that's already established themselves would be much easier than doing this completely from scratch.
Okay, so it sounds like your pitch needs to be, first of all, a story, like how a complete nobody making $10 an hour, but who is, you know, the ultra enthusiastic, you know, devourer and evangelist of alternative healing information, pulled off a $400,000 conference with, you know, 16 hours of coaching or something. I mean, isn't that kind of like what the story is?
Yeah, in this case, it definitely is.
Right. All right. So, and then the setup needs to be, you know, are you a, you know, die-hard, super enthusiast, blah, 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 you know, and all your friends know that you're this maniac, except, you know, you're laboring in obscurity, and, you know, you just wish that you could get a break while we engineer big breaks.
Right,
Like,
so as opposed to going after the market that's trying to publish a book, you know, like you did, your Google AdWords book, and get famous through that route.
Well, sure, except this is what you're doing is you're taking that and you're almost like making a BizOp version of it, which, you know, I kind of frown on BizOp a little bit in my world, but frankly, you know, it's like, it's lizard brain. It works on anybody, right? It's like, well, you know, if this nobody $10 an hour person could get famous in alternative health of all places, which is like, you know, brutally competitive, you know, I can make you an expert on industrial networking, you know, especially considering you actually have a little bit of credentials. You know, like I think that's kind of the pitch. And I guess my interest in this would actually be contingent on you getting the pitch right. It took me a while to kind of figure out what like you started out like, well, you know, people do this stuff and it's really hard, and I found this way that's a little easier. But your story illustrates your point a lot better than your bullets do.
I think that's well said. That's well said. This is the second time I've heard it. Actually piqued my interest a little bit more this time, but I 100%.
Well, isn't it the second time I heard it too?
Well, I talked to you about it, but again, I thought that you took me as a beginner who had never done anything, and
You're not.
I see this as a business add-on, you know, to somebody that's already got that's trying to build the you know, the bestseller and get out in the market to build their brand. So that's why I had pitched it that way. But I understand the story part. I agree with the stories are what sell.
Mike, we unfortunately need to move on. Do you want to just leave your email or contact information if anybody would like to get a hold of you?
Sure.
Which is?
Well, BroadwellMike@gmail.com. BroadwellMike @gmail.com.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Perry.
Who's
next?
Hey, let me make a little change to my internet. I might disappear for a minute. Hang on.
Okay. Please raise your hand if you'd like to go next. Otherwise, I'll call in someone.
So, DJ, would you like to go next?
DJ, would you like to go next?
Yes. Am I still muted, or can you hear me?
We can hear you. I can't make you a presenter because you're on the telephone, so there'll still have to be an audio-only presentation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, you don't have to go next, and you could call. You can come back in with a microphone if you'd like.
Okay, so
Okay, I'm back.
okay, I'll come back in as the.
Yeah, log out and come back in on a computer, and then we can give you a presentation.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay. Dan, would you mind going next, since no one's raising their hand? Oh, Greg would like to go next. Go ahead, Greg.
Good morning.
Good morning. Would you like
Good morning.
to make a presentation?
Sure.
Okay.
It's a little early. I haven't had my coffee yet.
Okay. Well, it's 10:36, and you'll have till 10:43.
Okay. So you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a little bit new for me in that I've been around the internet marketing world, known Perry for a long time. Perry and I got some other stuff going on, but when I got that email from Perry and I ended up buying your product, I'm like, okay, I got to get this down. My son started internet marketing when he's 15. He's now 28. He ended up putting together a platform called Value Add-on, and it's the newest, latest, greatest, coolest membership site platform to literally for experts to build a membership site in literally an hour, and maybe in some cases 24 hours, depending on how much content you have. It's built in the cloud, comes with pre-approved merchant accounts, comes with pre-sales page builders. It comes with just everything you would need to put together your membership site, lickety-split, and be taking credit cards in a matter of literally an hour or so. And for me, my son is got his head down on the technology and adding features and working on the back end of the systems and the procedures for the growth we expect. I decided, and I told him I would take on the helps the sales, marketing, and business development, which is what I'm doing. So for me, doing joint ventures and putting these things together, although I've been involved in hundreds of them on the other side, I haven't really orchestrated a lot on this side, so that's why I'm doing this. Let me give you a quick little demo. So I've got a number of sites. So I bought, just as a case study, I bought a PLR product called Google Hangouts Mastery. It came with this video, sales video, and I basically put together this site in about an hour, and I put the headline together, the video. And this is an exact demo of what our sales page creator looks like. And you got a place to put in your headline, you got a place to shove sub-headline. The buttons automatically tie into the shopping cart, automatically tie into the merchant account. They're all dynamically created. You've got social sharing. Down here, you have what is referred to as preview what's inside. So I check a little button, and it shows me every lesson inside, lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. Now, obviously, I can't click on those lessons to get to them. It's just kind of like a little teaser to show you what's inside the members area. And let me go ahead and log in and show you the members area for this one. So now I'm logged in, and now it took me to my back office because I'm an admin on this, but normally a user would get to this screen right here. And it's just a real clean interface to display your digital delivered content. So we have course number 1, G+ Hangouts, course number 2, G+ Hangouts Mastery Advanced, and Live Hangout Archives. And you can see we have a cool feature called Course Completion Tracking, and it says that I've completed 3 out of 20 on this one. On this one, it says I've completed 1 out of 14. And I'm going to go ahead and just click on the Mastery course. And it shows me I'm 7% completed. And one of the things that we didn't like about online delivery of content was when you do and start getting into the video content or whatever, you always forget where you left off. There's 20 or 30 videos. Where I leave off, you're always searching around. So ours has a little thing that says continue with this lesson, and it automatically takes me back to the place I left off. I can star lessons. I can go jump to a different lesson if I want to, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on continue with this lesson. And here it takes me to the lesson. Here's the video. A couple things that the system does is we host all the videos on Amazon S3. When you upload the video to our system, it encodes it in both high definition and low definition, so it helps with giving the user a good experience. And as I watch the video, it would end up checking this off that I got it done. On the right-hand side here, you can do a description about this content in this video. If you have downloads, or if you want to allow the end user to download the video, you can check a little button, and it'll automatically show up here. And then when we do that, we also rip the audio, so the audio is also downloadable. And again, you can't turn this off, but we thought that was a kind of a cool little feature. And then we have a notes tab to the right of the video where people can take notes. And I always teach people that, hey, when I'm watching videos, I'll pause it and say, okay, at 3 minutes and 22 seconds, here was an aha moment, or here was an action item, and I take my notes that way, and I can always come back and refer to my notes on that particular video.
Two-minute warning, Greg.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go back to this one right here. So now I'm logged in. Here's another very cool feature about what we have is I'm logged into my master admin panel. And you can see I have Angel Investors Network, Angel Money Bootcamp, Book Marketing Masters, Connected Sponsor, Facebook Affiliate Revolution, FB Lead Finder, Hollywood Profit Faucet, Internet Oil Wells, Master Hangouts. I have a team training where I upload content for the people that work for me. And I can manage all of my membership sites from one place. And I can get into them. And then we have a whole licensing platform that I've shared with Perry in the past that's phase 2 of with this. And I can actually take content and I could upload content here and have it be syndicated and update all of my membership sites from one place. So if I did want to syndicate a piece of content to all my websites, I could, and there's just nothing like it out there. So what we're doing and what I've been doing is I've been doing webinars titled 90 Days to 10K in Cash and Monthly Residual Income, something along those lines. And what we do is we run the numbers and show people exactly how to set their goals and what they need to do to get to $10,000 a month, how to find the content, sell, and profit at no cost to them, and how to get customers that will pay you every month for your membership site content, and obviously using our technology. Let me show you one
You
more.
need to start winding down. And Daniel Kurt asks if it integrates with Infusion and other systems.
Yes, it does integrate with Infusionsoft and other systems. JVZoo, Infusionsoft, MailChimp, One Shopping Cart, and some other ones, and we're continuing to add different integrations.
Cool. Perry, do you have questions?
Well, I think it's very interesting. I saw it before. I was impressed by it. Greg, what's actually working for you for getting people to promote this or customers to sign up?
Well, what's working really is the whole idea that we've been teaching people how to build as a business model and basically publish other content owners, right? So as an example, we did a publishing deal with some guys out of Florida, and they're Teespring experts. We said, we'll build the membership site, we'll manage the membership site, we'll do everything, and we give you 30%, or we take 30% of the revenue, and they've already got 60 people signed up at $97 a month, and it's been less than 2 weeks. And for us to build the website, it's just simple, easy peasy. So that's one thing. And then people that are really experts and understand Kajabi or Wishlist or these other tools to build membership sites, they just love our platform because it's just so easy to launch a new website and a new membership site. They just love it. So we're kind of getting traction on both sides of doing what we're doing, and we're in our payment plan. Let me show you that real quick. So if you want to do one membership site, I pressed the wrong button. If you want to do one membership site, it's $37 a month, and it's pre-approved merchant account, shopping cart, everything I got here. If you want to do up to 10 membership sites, $97 a month, and if you want to do 50 to 100 membership sites, it's $197 a month.
Plus a percentage of the sales for the merchant account?
No. Only on the publishing method is where we were taking a percentage of sales. The merchant account we use is Stripe. So we have Stripe built into this, and that's what allows us to build the shopping cart and have everything integrated on the fly. But Stripe is just typically, 2.9%, 3% of your sales figures.
Got it. And how do people get a hold of you if they want to know more?
You can go to valueaddon.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook, Facebook.com/Greg Ryder.
Very good. Perry, anything else? Should we go on? Mr. Marshall? Perry, I don't think we can hear you now. I'm going to move on while Perry figures that out. He's coming back in on the phone.
Hey, Glenn.
Yeah.
I'm having a little trouble with my internet connection, which I hope to solve that pretty soon here. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed with this. I have a project that I could possibly even use this for coming up probably around the end of the year. And I think his Greg's best shot at this is some kind of parasitic relationship with somebody else who is selling to the exact same customer. And it could be the Infusionsoft, or it could be another. Maybe it's even the guy with the shopping cart, the Magento.
Yeah, that was Dan Kurt. Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting possibilities here.
Okay.
And if you give me a second, I might actually have a better connection.
Okay.
For you.
Well, we can hear you fine, Perry. I just think you can't see the screen. So if there's somebody who has an audio-only presentation, perhaps that would be best to go next so Perry can get the whole thing. Raise your hand if you're that person. Is that Ryan? Okay, perfect. So let's go with Ryan Eidson. I believe that's how you pronounce your name. And I've unmuted you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Ryan Edson. Thank you, Perry and Glenn. I'm the author of A Couple with Common Sense, and I had sent it off to Perry a few months ago on the connection I had with Joel Comm. So I just have a story to share with you.
Okay.
This morning, are we ready?
Yes, we are.
Go for it.
Excellent. This morning, John sat down to breakfast with his wife, Abby. They really didn't sit down to eat together. Each one was hustling to get the kids ready, grab a bite to eat, and rush out the door to get started with their day. When John finally sat down at his desk, he let out a big sigh. "How can I get this done?" he asked out loud to no one but himself. "My inspiration is all dried up, and I just can't seem to get anywhere." John has worked for the past 3 years in an attempt to take his business to the next level. He's attempted all the tactics that his buddies have shown him, and John gives speeches a few times a month. He's writing a blog, has an email list, and gets on Facebook and Twitter multiple times every day. He's in a tough spot because no matter what John has tried, he has not seen any significant growth to his bottom line. John wondered if he should quit. He shut his laptop for a moment to think. John even let his coffee get cold because he was so deep in thought. Am I in the wrong industry? Is my marketing plan insufficient? Why do my articles and speeches get little traction? It's like I'm throwing mud on the wall to see if any will stick, and very little has stuck. Abby believes in John's dreams, and his closest friends do too. However, none of them have ever worked for themselves, so it's difficult for them to understand all the frustrations John's had. For the first time in months, John looked back over his calendar. He found that his marketing activities, which were once aggressive, have slowed down because of his feelings. Deep down, John knew that his ideas had the potential to impact the lives of thousands of people, but he thought that he had tried everything to get the word out about what he was doing. After taking a quick walk outdoors, John went back to his desk. He checked his email and opened one from an online acquaintance, a marketer that he greatly respected. In this email was something different than John had ever considered before. Have you ever felt that you've tried everything you know to promote your business? Yeah, John thought. Are you already on all the social networks doing what you can to drive traffic to your blog that you update often and no one seems to care? Yes, that's me. Do you feel like giving up on your marketing because you've lost all inspiration, as if the muse has left you? Wow, he's talking about me? Has he been reading my journal? Let me introduce you to Ben. Ben was in the same situation as you. When we looked at Ben's business, we found that he was writing articles and giving speeches that were not unique to him. His content looked, smelled, and tasted just like everyone else's. I wonder what Ben was doing. Ben even had a book listed on Amazon. It had a few reviews, but never got any traction. The market said that his book was a Me Too book. How To has become Me Too, and the blogosphere has just become one big echo chamber. And if you're a Me Too kind of person, you're viewed as a commodity to the market, and commodities do not command premium prices. I've never thought of it that way, thought John. Does my market see me as a commodity? Do people really know how I'm unique? The email went on to say that Ben learned how to go Beyond working as a commodity, Ben has moved beyond the content mill of knowledge. He uses the power of transformational stories to move his audiences, both live and online, to action. Click here and we'll help you get out of the cesspool of commodity business. Storytelling? I can't tell stories. What do stories have to do with marketing? John started to get frustrated. How am I supposed to learn one more thing right now when have all these other plates spinning that I need to take care of? Which reminds me, I have an appointment in 15 minutes. Better get ready for it. John went through the rest of his day as planned. He completed his appointments and returned a phone call from a friend. That evening, John's 2 children climbed up on his lap after supper. John wanted to be left alone, but for some reason his kids insisted that they read him a book. You haven't read a book to us in a long time, Daddy. Can you read us a story before bed? The other one asked.
2 minutes, Ryan.
Okay. Abby smiled at him from across the room. John decided to turn off his phone for once and focus solely on his children. Go over there and pick up the one you want me to read, he said. Right in the middle of the story, John stopped reading. What's wrong, Daddy? He was thinking about the email from earlier. I can tell stories. This isn't so hard. I just thought about something else. Sorry, I'll continue. Before John could finish the tale, his kids fell asleep. Abby picked one up, and he took the other, and each parent tucked a child in bed for the night. So the story goes on and says that John decided to go ahead and get into what's called the Story Rules Blueprint. And the benefits of the Story Rules Blueprint to your customers and to John is to create content that grabs the minds and the hearts of the target market. You develop a brand narrative that shows the ideal clients how they will benefit from doing business with them. You create prospect-centered marketing instead of company-centered messages, answering the prospect's questions of what's in it for me. You're writing content that's totally unique to your voice, and the competition cannot duplicate it. The stories your customers create will quickly disqualify and weed out the people that are not an ideal fit for them. And this content can be repurposed in any format, including videos, articles, books, case studies, podcast episodes, and you have the ability to survive the deluge of content marketing. Perry, I believe the Story Rules Blueprint is in alignment with your writing for influence, authority, and impact, which you offered before I even heard about you. And my question is, do you think this should be offered as a live event with hot seats instead of a digital product?
Okay, so I think that, well, I don't think that's the first question that you should ask.
Okay.
So you're selling a program that's about telling better stories.
Right.
But the story you're using to tell it isn't sucking me in.
How's that?
It's a B story. It's not an A story. Now, really, what it comes down to is you have to convince somebody that you have a way to teach them how to tell way better stories than they've been telling, that their ability to tell stories is the reason why they're a commodity, and that of all the different things they've tried, that if they could tell better stories, their problems would go away. Well, it would be nice if you had a way to figure out who's failing because they have bad stories versus who's failing because they have a bad product or they lack a USP or they have a bad market or whatever. Your story sounds fictional, and I need a real story. So do you have a real story of somebody who changed their story and all of a sudden started hitting it out of the park?
There's people I'm working with right now, but we're not on the other side of it.
Right, Ryan,
okay.
Go on, I'm sorry.
Okay, I don't think, do you have an example of where this already works for somebody,
No, I don't yet. Not
Okay.
not after the fact.
I don't think you should sell how-to marketing advice before you have that story. I think selling how-to marketing advice is one of the most brutal markets there is. Even if you're, like in my case, I sold industrial networking components, and I figured out how to sell software and hardware to industrial engineers, and eventually became a successful sales guy doing that. And I did that before I started selling, here, I'll teach you how to be a successful sales guy.
Right.
And so I think the path that you're taking is a very, very hard path to take, and there's much easier paths to take. So I realize that's kind of harsh advice, but it's the best advice I can give. Glenn, do you have any comments?
Well, Ryan, just to kind of reinforce, one of the reasons that it's so difficult is you not only have to prove to people in the context of your story that the story's going to sell to them, but you have to prove to them that you're better than all the other guys out there who are going to teach them how to sell with stories. And there are a lot of strong copywriters that want to teach you how to sell with stories. So you're setting up a pretty tall order for yourself. I mean, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was, otherwise an interesting idea. But I agree with Perry. The how to market yourself world is brutal if you don't have enough proof behind you, proof and experience first. So we might be saving you some pain and agony. Go out and help a bunch of people for, do it for free or something for half a dozen or a dozen people, and get your case studies in order and figure out what works and what really doesn't, and then you might have something.
Sure. I appreciate the honesty. I really need the good feedback.
Okay.
Well, one of my favorite phrases about all of this is, in the land of the blind, the man with one eye gets to be king. And you need to go to the land of the blind where you can be the man with one eye, and it's actually ridiculously easy by comparison. And it's probably some big, dumb, boring industry. There's 100 different trade shows that you could go to, and you'll find people where their selling skill on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 1 or a 2 or a 3, and all you have to be is a 6, and you can walk on water.
Right. Perry, you have a hard stop at 11:30. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 4 more people and we have 31 more minutes. So I'm going to ask people if they could possibly present in 6 minutes or so and keep the questions and answers to a minute. And this is on tape, and if there's interest, there'll be an opportunity for people to follow up with you. So Darrell has his hand in next. Ryan, thank you very much, and I know that
Thank you both again.
was not a comfortable experience. So, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Ryan, you will do well.
Yeah.
You will figure this out.
He's a bright guy with a decent idea. Just needs some experience behind him first.
And a lot of passion.
Yes. Darrell, can I make you a presenter? Darrell? Hi, Darrell. You're unmuted. Okay, let's go on to someone else then. Raise your hand, please, if you'd like to go, or I'll just call on you. Okay.
Dan.
Let's go, Dan. Go ahead.
Hi, Glenn. Hi, Perry. How are you guys doing?
Hey, very good. You need to be a presenter?
I would like to be a presenter.
Poof, you're a presenter. Okay, starting at 11 o'clock sharp.
Great. So can you see my screen?
We can.
Fantastic. Okay, so we We supply business book summaries. We've been doing it for about 16 years. Our customer base, they're mainly business associations, and we also do some stuff with bigger companies like IBM. And we've partnered with over 40 business associations so far. JV sales, a little over $3.5 million bucks. But the important thing is that every one of our partners comes back to do more campaigns with us. You know, we do yearly campaigns, and so hopefully that says something good about us. Conversion rates average 4.3%. We sell to, you know, HR people, engineers, all sorts of different types of people who do business, in business. But the people who we get the best response from are people who are like kind of performance-based, consultants, business owners, that kind of people. And we get much better conversions with them. Our lowest converting people are people like engineers, around 2%, but there's lots of them, so we continue to work with engineers. And they love to learn, which is wonderful. Our JV partners say some nice stuff about us. Business Source has the best all-around offering. We get lots of recommendations. Their customers, couple of things we hear a lot is people really value our program and they love the summaries. That's why those testimonials are up here. The product, as I said, we do business book summaries. We offer summaries of 2 business books every month. We do them in text and audio. You can read or listen to them on any device, iPad, Kindle, iPhone, whatever. We also do video, and this is what differentiates us. None of our major competitors do video, and these are speed drawing video, and they really seem to engage people really well. Learning really gets zoomed up with these things. Our book summaries take about 15 minutes to go through, and the videos are a great way to recap, you know, so people can kind of hammer in that knowledge. And so, you know, one question is, can you really get a ton of great information into a video? Well, some of the authors like Sally Hogshead and Tony Robbins here are really surprised at how well these videos work at communicating the big takeaways in a book. So basically what we are is we're 80-20 learning. In about 15 minutes you can learn the big ideas that some experts spent years or decades figuring out. We offer books from, you know, we offer current books in our program. We also have a huge library because we've been doing this for a while. So we've got bestsellers and books that have been really well reviewed over the last, you know, 10 years or so. We also have classics, and like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, E-Myth, Good to Great, you know, books that every entrepreneur should read. So, you know, most people just don't have time to do the reading. So in 15 minutes you can at least get the big rocks down, and because, you know, if you don't have time to read. So basic user benefits: readers make more money. Why? Basically, they know the key success drivers in many areas of business. And what does that do? Well, it gets rid of the stupidity tax. I don't know where I got that from, Perry, but you might know the guy. And the opportunity: entrepreneurs and small business owners are our most engaged customers when we do surveys. They're the people who come on and say the nicest things about us. And since you have similar people on your list, I believe, you might do well offering our summaries. And that is me.
That was nice and succinct. Thank you, Dan.
Tried to keep it under the 6 minutes.
Perry, do you have any questions? Perry?
So you're saying that you typically get 2 to 4% conversion rate when you're dealing with various business people, correct?
We get about, when we average out all of our business associations, we get 4.3%.
Okay, and the program sells for how much?
We've got, it's a program that's heavily discounted. The program is $130 for the core program, and we discount it down to $49. And we have one with that's a silver program. We have a gold program that is about $300, and we cut that price down for the promotion down to $99. And we have a platinum program that has
Wait, $99 per year or
$99 for 1 year, and then subsequent years are $59.
Okay. What's the closest to my audience that you've sold this to?
Perry, Dan actually pitched me last time we were on, and I mailed it to my prospect list. A significant subsegment, comes from you, and I'd say we have 20,000 people that it went out to for the test, not the buyers. Looks like we're headed towards $2,000, $2,500 in sales. This was the kind of thing I promoted more because, not so much because I thought I was going to make a fortune with it, but because I wanted my audience to be reading. I wanted them to have the information because I thought they would do better. So that's probably the closest to your audience that I could think of.
And give me an idea of the spectrum of books that you have summaries of.
Okay, so we've got the classics, as I mentioned.
Yep.
We've got books like Contagious, Jab, 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 like the big kind, those kind of books. We've got, how about I just go through a few of them, okay? So we've got Hooked, How to Build Habit-Forming Products, Power Questions, Build Relationships with New Business and Influence Others, Seeing What Others Don't Through Remarkable Ways We Gain Insights, Focus, The Hidden Driver of Excellence, that's Daniel Goleman's new book. Jab, 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 I just mentioned Gary Vaynerchuk's book. The Plateau Effect, Getting from Stuck to Success, Finding Your Element, How to Discover Your Talents and Passions and Transform Your Life. The Everything Store, Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon, Control, Alt, Delete, Reboot Your Business, Reboot Your Life, Your Future Depends on It. David and Goliath, Malcolm Gladwell. Your network is your net worth, Real Influence, Big Data, Taking Smart Risks, Give and Take, Decisive, that's Chip and Dan Heath's book, The Advantage. Does that give you a good idea, or?
Yeah, it does. And do you have transcripts as well, not just the videos?
Yeah, we have videos. The videos are 5 minutes. We have summaries, which are about 6 pages. They take about 15 minutes to go through. We have audio of those 6-page files, and that's 15 to 20 minutes to go through. So you get you can pack a lot into 6 pages, believe it or not, and that gives people a good enough idea, gives them a good enough grounding in what this expert has learned, and tells them enough if they want to, gives them enough if they want to. Now they're informed enough to say, hey, I need an outsourcer and I know how I'm going to do this, or I need to read the whole book, or that's interesting and I can just stick that in my back pocket.
That looks pretty good. It's an interesting offer. I mean, there's been a lot of book summary guys out there. I think video's an interesting twist. Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Dan,
I would mail it to some part of my list, kind of like Glenn did.
Dan, how could Perry get a hold of you if he wanted to?
I could. My email is dan@thebusinesssource.com.
Okay.
And
so
that's it.
With that, Dan, I'm going to move on.
Do you have podcast versions at all?
Well, what we have is people can just every month we email out downloadable MP3s, but we can certainly create a good podcast version. Like we make this really easy. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know how good of a suggestion this is.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that the technology exists where you can send podcasts only to paying members.
Right.
And maybe people would find that useful too.
Well, thank you for the tip.
But in any case, yeah, it's an interesting service you got.
Thanks, Perry.
Cool.
You bet.
Thanks, Glenn.
Okay. So, Yoav, who's next? Yoav?
Next is Patrick.
Darrell Patrick. Okay. Go ahead, Darrell. Do you need me to make you a presenter?
Yes, please.
Poof, you are a presenter.
Can you hear me there?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is the name of my company, California College Planners. Just to give you an overview of what we do, we help people lower their college costs. We do help families get free money. However, that's only a portion of the cost. This is $16,000 a year this particular family received for 4 years, renewable. So we help different types of families. Primarily, most of the sweet spot are people that need some sort of help. They typically make more than 80 to 100,000, up to $200,000 plus. Being homeowners, typically in the Bay Area or California. We're working locally only right now. I'd like to expand that online. And then there's a lot of people that won't get any need-based aid. They need to get merit aid and pay for college in the most tax-efficient fashion. So I have a CPA that we're working with. We're working on a book and a home study course right now to help tackle the real cost of college for elite schools, private schools, public schools. And the goal is to get the cost of college down per child. And typically what that entails is once a family ends up working with us, there's several things that we do. We help them get more aid if they're eligible. Like this particular family here, they got an extra $9,000 a year just by us helping them send out a letter and negotiating. And we had another family that got another $5,000 for a year from Notre Dame, which is a really typically a stingy school. And we also help put together a financial plan. So it's not just about financial aid. We usually help them save quite a bit of money. So typically what we're able to do is show them where they are currently. And so say, for instance, this particular family, if they didn't do anything without our help, they wouldn't have been eligible for anything. And then we helped them become eligible for about $41,000. We put together a plan for them and save them money. I get people coming in saying they're on Xanax. You wouldn't believe it. They're arguing. Their in-laws are mad at them. Their kids are mad at them. So this is what we do. So what I need, excuse me, help with, I like to JV with college admissions companies. There's one locally. They're making about $60,000 per event. They're only doing 2 events at 2 local schools. They're doing admissions only boot camps. They don't do anything financial. There's Ivy League admissions planners. They help students obviously get into Ivy League schools. There's mortgage trainers. Most of my clients, a large portion of my clients will need a mortgage if it's advisable. We go through the whole thing. We show them what they could avoid. If they don't plan, here's some monthly payments if they take the wrong types of student loans over a 10-year period and what their costs could be. So we help them avoid those types of situations, and we give them a plan. We show them what their college costs could be if they don't do anything. This particular family is the family that I was referring to here. They ended up getting $16,000 a year, so they paid less to go to a private school than most of their peers were paying to go to public school. So when it comes to a JV, obviously I could do a boot camp, but I don't know, where to start, how to pitch a JV to these individuals, how to price it, how to split revenue, things of that nature. This is a local company. There are also people that have driver's ed schools or online prep services, or people like kidsbowlfree.com. I'd love to do a JV with them. Maybe Howard Berg, people in that. What makes us different is that most of our competitors only focus on financial aid, and a lot of our clients may not get any. We had a couple of attorneys. We helped them. Successful attorneys, their income was over $200,000 a year combined, over $250,000, and we helped them save about $64,000 on their daughter's college costs just by cash flow planning and tax planning. So I worked together with the CPA on that. So typically, our families save about $64,000 per child.
Darrell, just a minute or so, please.
Our client. Okay, so that's where I need help, is finding out, taking those JVs or potential JVs, pitching them, approaching them, and finding a program that will work. These are all new programs. This is typically what we charge, and it includes quite a bit. There's about 4 meetings that we have with the parents, and then 2 with the students with our counselors. Do you have any questions for me?
Darrell, I have a connection for you.
USP?
I'm sorry?
Go on, Perry.
What-
I heard 2 people.
Perry, go ahead.
So what is your USP as a college funding planning company?
Help families with 6-figure incomes and or assets cut college costs by up to $64,350 per child through tax, cash flow, and college financial aid planning.
And are you saying that most of them can only help companies with customers with lower incomes?
No, that's I use this USP because that's who I help. I create the largest impact for 6-figure income families. Families with, if they don't make 6 figures, we can still save them a lot of money or help them find money.
All right, but aren't you saying that most of your competitors can't do for the high-income family what you can?
Correct, exactly.
Can you sharpen that more?
The USP, or clarify it for you?
Well,
what we do is tax planning, cash flow planning. We work on all the household costs, mortgage, tax, debt, business optimization, household cash flow. We work on a budget. It's not just, and then a lot of these companies, it's a thinly veiled attempt to sell them insurance. That's not what we're about, so. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What is your USP to your JV partner?
I can help their clients save money, and if they're interested, some people think it's not ethical or they don't want to participate in fees or sharing revenue. Do I need to find people who are, or find out the best way to pitch it, or do more testimonials?
Well, what's the closest you've come to having a JV with anybody?
I'm working with a guy right now from Texas. I'm also working with a CPA. I've been sending the CPA clients. He sent me some. They're not exactly, the clients that I've wanted. So I'm figuring there's other CPAs out there that have a list that may already be doing planning. Because most people don't do tax planning. They only fill out forms. So there's $4,000 a year per child that most people aren't taking advantage of. They're not paying their children.
Darrell, could you, we're going to have to move on in a second. I want you to make sure you let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. But my thought, as I'm hearing this, is I wonder if you could guarantee a CPA that you can save any client who makes more than 6 figures a year $4,000 per child or $2,500 per child.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we put that if they don't save, 3 times what they pay us, we'll give their money back.
Okay, so if you approach the CPAs in your area and say, I have a way for every one of your clients to save $2,500, would you like to tell them about it? And you're going to make such and such amount of money for each client you refer, or you can just give them this gift. I think you might get some traction with that. Darrell, we have to move on. Where should we get a hold of you if we need to?
Rich, R-I-C-H. My first name is Richard. Rich, R-I-C-H, at cacollegeplanners.com.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Rich. Sent your audio pin a couple of times. I tried in the beginning, too. Perry, do you have any other comments while we're giving Andy just a second? Any thoughts about today? Advice for people?
Pretty interesting rapid fire of interesting opportunities here. I think you sold a really interesting program.
So why don't we do it like that? Okay, no problem. It's technology. It's our best friend and our worst enemy, right? So, okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. Perry, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Great to talk to everybody.
Good episode of Perry Tank, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks.